Hello and welcome to this edition of Saturday Chat with me, Big Scott 35. We're going to talk about my personal hobby, a little bit about life in a week last week, and just talk about the hobby itself. And I want to put a put an ending note on the YouTube Hall of Fame. Congratulations to everybody who won. My man Hitman crushed it. I don't know if he was top vote getter or second. Purple GT. That was the one I made a mistake on. I should have had him in as probably my first with Mike Fabian, which didn't get in. I'm sorry, Mike. I think you're kind of like me. It's nice just to hear your name being spoke by peers, and I want to thank the 26 people that voted for me and anybody else that even, had me on their thoughts or, I really appreciate it. I heard a lot of kind words. I do this, I remember when I had one person watching. I remember the first time that I got a view and somebody left a message and now I have friends, I have peers that think enough of me to put me on their ballots and, just having fun with the hobby and just an extension, and, I do like to show cards. We're going to go, I got some more David Wright stuff. Here's a patch auto. I think that's a Bowman. I think it's Sterling, if I'm not mistaken. It's a little weird, but yeah. Got that. Picked up this cheap one. It's a sticker, but it is still an auto. So a couple of autos there to break it up. And I want to thank also Brad, Ray, and Scott. I told Brad this, with them three doing it, which made a difference. I think it made it better for it. We're having three people, one guy doing, Brad put in a lot of work for the OG ballot, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And Ray and Scott, who were also doing the football card Hall of Fame. A lot of stuff. And Ray is huge in his community. All three of them they're already members of the Hall of Fame. And I don't think all of them have over 1,000 subscribers, I believe. So I don't think they were doing this for other reasons other than the love for the community. Ray proves this by doing get-togethers at Philly. Brad, does care packages. Scott, man, he talks to everybody at show. That's every year at the National. All three of them, nicest guys you would ever meet. Great people. So I do appreciate it. And I told Brad that I think with them three, they're kind of in different parts of the community a little bit. So it was more inclusive, I felt. And I think that showed in the voting and who won. It wasn't all just one group. It kind of came out of different groups because there's groups. I mean, come on. If this was a cafeteria, there would be tables with certain groups sitting at tables and maybe a lot of intermingling, but that's just the facts. We gravitate to people and we make groups. That's the social dynamic of humans. So I really thought that, and I thought they did a great job. Now, about the OG ballot, I've been hearing a lot, and this is going to probably not be a popular statement, especially with my friend group. But, if you don't want to vote, that's your choice. You don't need to put a reason. You don't need but Brad did put a lot of effort into it, and he put it out before a week or two before the voting started, did a video for it. So the excuse that you didn't know or couldn't find or whatever, that was poor. So, but not saying anything would probably be better. But again, it's your choice. It's just like voting in real life. You have the right to vote or not to vote. It's just the same right. And yes, you have a right, even if you don't vote, to speak out about it. It's a little thing that we have freedom of speech, but there is consequences to those freedoms when it's a public thing. So I'm not going to knock anybody for not voting. Personally, I voted. I thought it was the right thing to do, but each person has to gauge that up for themselves. Just like people not putting 10 votes down or whatever, that's your choice. If you want to put one vote, voting for yourself 10 times seems silly. I don't agree with voting for yourself at all, but if that's the case, that's the case. But the key of it all, to have fun with this, and that's it. That's the whole thing. It's nothing real. I heard a lot of people deserving, and they put in. I don't know. We have no criteria for this. None, other than you had to make videos for 3 years, which I feel is too soon. I feel 5 years. 3 years, you're just getting your feet wet in this. You're just figuring out what you're doing, getting a rhythm and everything. I think 5 years, because the Real Hall of Fame, longevity is a big part of it. How many people we know? I mean, great video by the Misfits with their awards. That was great. I feel like how many people quit afterwards, or you just don't see them as much or whatever. And it's just a timing thing. I think the 3 years is a threshold. Like, you either know you're doing this or you're not, right? So I feel like it's a little too soon, but it is. The rules are what they are. Like Mike, the baseball collector, said, if you want to do your own, nobody's stopping. So, I again appreciate them doing it. I appreciate everybody that voted, period. I do appreciate everybody looking out for the OGs. And it's not, I heard things like, they didn't like their channels or whatever. It's not, it's a respect thing, right? It's, those guys were doing it before us. I know a lot of people come in, especially during the COVID. It seemed like people were coming in and they thought they were the first ones to do something. Look, if it's been done or talked about, if you're doing it, it's already been done or talked about, right? Most likely. And you're just trying to put a fresh spin on it and, do something, a different view or whatever. So that's what that is pointing out, and just checking them out, and just knowing who kind of the forefathers were of what we're doing. That's it. And it's a good tool. And I thought it was a good addition to this year to kind of freshen up and put a spin on it, because it's just like anything else. When somebody's voted to, or you get a new boss, what's the first thing they do? They want to make a new rule or a new law that defines who they are and to prove that they're the leaders, right? So, I thought it was something good, something different, something to kind of freshen it up. Because to be honest, I probably wouldn't have participated myself if it didn't change hands. And that's it. I've said that before. I'm not going to apologize for that. I just have reasons, and that's it. But again, congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to everyone that got votes. I feel like everybody from Jeff Wilson on the Jabs family. Everybody that makes a video deserves some recognition. And also, I think everybody should be able to vote if it's a real thing. I know that'd be impossible to count unless you had some system, but yeah, I just but because there's people out there. I was on last weekend. I was on Carlos's channel, and somebody brought up some guy that's got 39,000 subscribers. I never heard of him before. It sounded like it was a breaker or whatever, but they're part of the card community. So, but anyway, I digress. Now we'll get into my own thing. The week. I worked 7 days in a row this week, so I did a Wednesday additions. Had a nice little stack. Added about 10 cards to my Pete Alonso collection. Got a great care package from Ty. Just incredible. So, here's the captain. Love this patch auto. It's numbered to 99, I think. It's from Topps Chrome. Beautiful card. I love this one as well. This is on card. I got a Hojo with kind of a Western theme. It almost looks like he should have signed here, but I don't care. I just love the simplicity. It's kind of an old school look autograph that you would get at a game. Love that. Another beautiful one card on the 89 style card. Beautiful card. Love that one. I like those type of things. But that's all I gotta say. Done with YouTube till Hall of Fame till next year, and I'll decide then what I want to do. And again, appreciate. I am just over the moon with people just bringing my name up. So I really appreciate. I'm sad we didn't get the kazoo parade. The kazoo is buried. It's been destroyed. So no kazoo parade. But let's see what we can think up for Eric next year. So yeah, I did Wednesday. Great cards to my collection. Some online.com stuff. If you're looking for short prints, I know the Olympic card with Jack Hughes, I think that's going to break some records for how many people have bought that. Awesome. Just didn't fit my collection. Almost got the one for women, but it just didn't fit my collection. So I'm really trying to, like I said, I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff in other collections and just drilling back to like what I really love and what really I want to put, invest my time, money, and effort into, right? What makes me happy at the end of the day. And why buy stuff if I'm just not? I love my Star Wars, but at the end of the day, it's just trinkets, stuff like that. I can get rid of it. That's the money I'm using to go. To be honest, I'm selling all that stuff, and that's the money. That's my national money this year. It's like I don't want to touch my savings account that I have. So I'm trying to do something else with that. So hopefully it all works out for me. Let's talk about the national real quick. I hearing people names floating around, Mike not going, whatever. I'm going. I'm making my announcement. I'm going. If anybody cares. Anybody care? Anybody care? If you're not going, okay. I understand. It's expensive. I've talked about this ad nauseum for the last 5 years before COVID. How many big shows there are around the country and how many shows can people go to? The economy is not getting better. It's getting worse. And you got to put your money where you can. And I completely understand if you don't want to travel to a show, especially now in Chicago where they know how many people are coming. They know they can put the prices as high as they there's not really any breaks in any housing now for that week, like it used to be. So, and you can't get any hotels across the street. So that was a big deal for a lot of people. That's what we heard about what sucked about Cleveland. And now Chicago's the same, if not worse. I don't care. I take my car. If I didn't, I'd probably, me and the guys would probably rent a car. Um, but, that's, uh, again, it's a choice. For me, it's like my vacation. Um, for other people, they go for 2 or 3 days for the show, and it doesn't make sense if you go to another show. If you go, you got big shows around you, or if you're in Florida and have a different show every other day of the week, and all around. It's completely understandable. I've been talking again, something I've talked about on this channel for 4 or 5 years. It's still going to be 100,000 of our closest friends there. Nobody cares if YouTubers go or not. So that's the facts. Hopefully the ones that go, we can get together a night or two and hang out like we usually do. Yeah, so I wasn't on Carlos's this week because I had to work this morning. But yeah, I feel like, the hobby's just going along. We had some fun with the Hall of Fame. Nothing really crazy this week. King Golden is still trying to, tell us about the Pokemon. Again, don't really care. That's just something. That's when they talk about cards that are that expensive, right? It's almost like it's not even in the same hobby I'm in. It's almost like art hobby or fine jewelry or anything but my card hobby. I can care less about a card. It's hard to buy comma cards, much less if there's two commas. To me, that is obnoxious. It's just money could go to other things. It always makes me scratch my head how true it is, how real. You know, I know at one time that people were mentioning it could be going to overseas. This one seems to be staying in the United States, I guess. But it is what it is, and I don't really care. I know people have said, oh, those sales help all cards. Does it? How? I don't understand how it does, because it's just in another stratosphere. It's just something different. It might bring attention to the news or whatever, but for me, that's buying. I'm in the $5 range most of the time. I'll splurge and get a couple $100, $400 card every now and again when I work a lot and have the money saved up. And then when I go to the national, I definitely splurge a little bit. But I'm a collector, man. I'm an old school guy. I like, just give me plain old Pete Alonso's or David Wright. Yeah, I've shown a lot of autos. I really love autos. My friend Ed posted one of David Wright and Schmidt today, but I already have 2 or 3 of David Wright and Schmidt on the same card. Look at that. Look at that. I love that, man. I love gold and silver, bronze autos. When they pop like that, great picture. I think that's, diamond. And David Wright, I think when I got that, it wasn't going for much. This one is a black out of 50 on card. That beautiful. Just pop. Love that. This is an actual sticker, which kind of was surprising because of its higher end looking card. But still, it's an autograph. It's done well. You know, I don't poo-poo stickers. Now this is stickers, but man, this is two great guys and then a a third. So this is Wade Boggs, David Wright, and the Morgan Ensberg autograph card. Oh, Morgan Ensberg made it on the Wade Boggs, David Wright. So this was one I wanted because I do have a Wade Boggs, but I wanted another with David Wright. So great third baseman. So really was looking forward to that one. That's probably all I'm going to show. I got another stack probably be next Saturday. But that's all I want to talk about. I just feel like those things, you know, YouTube Hall of Fame, you know, cards being, you know, I did buy I bought a large, what is it, the value box or whatever, the one that's bigger than the blaster. I forget what they're calling it now. So I forget how many packs there is. 8 cards. Opened them. Kind of with Hitman. It's kind of, pictures are great. They're not as glossy to me this year. They got a new parallel on these, light blue. I don't remember seeing that before. And I just feel like you feel a little old, like the older ones, just kind of plain. Not much going on the card, and that's fine. The pictures speak for themselves. They're great pictures. But they feel like they're not as glossy, so they don't pop like they did the last few years, like they used to. But that's it. I mean, you know, it's still a nice card. I'm still going to collect it. Just like the tops this year. I'm hearing a lot of people really like the flagship. It's not my favorite year. It's not even close for me. So it just feels like it's been done before. So yeah, that's all I got for you this week. So me and my dad will be on Monday at 7. Hopefully I'll remember. Last week I forgot. He had to call and text me. I got my days mixed up. So that was on me. So I didn't get it out early enough in the day to let people know we were coming on at 7, but we still had a good turnout. And I appreciate y'all for that. Y'all don't know how much that means to me and my dad. And, you know, if you can, make it out Monday at 7 on here. And we just talk baseball, man. And, you know, every once in a while we'll throw out other sports or whatever. You know, I just kind of let my dad do his thing. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend. Thank you I'm still getting a few subscribers here and there. I really appreciate that. And I will see ya.